Please welcome Abigail Barnes, founder and CEO of Success by Design Training. Abigail is an award-winning entrepreneur, author, and expert in time management and productive well-being. She is the creator of the powerful 888 formula and host of the Time Management Podcast. With a mission to help 1 million people become productive professionals by 2025, she brings deep expertise in coaching and neuroscience to her work. In today's session, Why Being Busy is Killing Your Career Development, Abigail will reveal how to break free from busyness, prioritize like a leader, and use data to demonstrate your strategic impact, all while protecting your time and well-being.
Welcome to the training. I'm so excited that we get to spend the next 50 minutes talking all about why being busy is killing your career development and what you can do about it. During our time together, you are going to hear at least one or two things that you can apply to your career and to your life to create the change that I know that is possible for you and that you desire. How do I know that you desire it? Because you are here doing extra curricular development for yourself and for your career. And that is exactly what you are going to learn from this training too. Let me know in the comments, wherever they are, if this is our first time hanging out or if we have met at a conference, online or in person. And also let us all know where you are joining from around the world. I am in London, England, in a place called Wembley. I live right next to the stadium, so there are always exciting things going on around the area that I live in, and I cannot wait for us to dive into this training. So without further ado, make sure you have a notebook, a pen, and a drink. Your notifications are turned off if possible, and understand you are going to hear exactly what you need to hear. If for any reason you need to dash off to do something, to respond to something in your job, have no fear. You will be able to catch up on the replay. Everything is perfect. You are in the right place. So without further ado, let's dive in. Welcome to the training. I'm so excited that you're here and we get to talk about why being busy is killing your career development and what you can do about it. You'll leave this training with a clear understanding of what you need to do in order to get recognized, remunerated, and requested, plus so much more. Leave it to me to give you the tips, the tools, the strategies that you need to take your career to the next level. During our time together, we're going to cover these 5 areas. We're going to talk about number 1, the science of busyness. Number 2, efficiency versus effectiveness. Number 3, prioritizing like an executive. Number 4, measuring what matters. And then we're going to wrap it all up with number 5, the 888 formula. How you can create the work-life balance you want for yourself. If this is our first time hanging out or we've hung out before, I'm Abigail Barnes, the founder of Success by Design Training. I'm an award-winning entrepreneur, a high-performance coach, working with ambitious professionals who are ready for their next career move, whether that be to get promoted, to get paid more, to be included in the meetings that they're organizing. These are the conversations I am having. I'm an international speaker. I am invited to talk about time management, productive well-being, and the 888 formula around the world. And I'm also a published author. Perhaps over the years, we've hung out at one of these events, whether online or in person, or maybe worked for one of the companies that is shown here. These are companies, clients that I've worked with over the years. But prior to starting my business, I worked in financial services marketing for over 10 years, but I always knew there was another path for me, only I couldn't see it. So I was forced to copy what everybody else was doing. And each time I did something that was copying, I just felt more and more hopeless. So I did what everybody else did then to make the hopeless feeling go away. I bought a handbag. I booked a weekend break. I went out drinking with my friend, but it never made it better. Then one day I was offered a work business trip to Boston, America, and I felt excited for the first time in a long time. I didn't even mind all of the long hours that I had to put in order to prep for the trip. Although I did have a catchphrase at the time, I used to repeat it to myself daily: this job is killing me. Fast forward to the day after I landed in Boston. It was a cold February morning. As the sun streamed in through the guest bedroom window at my friend's parents' house, I didn't feel well. Something wasn't right. I drunk some champagne on the flight on the way over. I drank some wine with dinner. I'd worked quite hard the week before, and also maybe it was jet lag. Only it just didn't feel normal. Black and white lights flashing in front of my eyes, throwing up in a dustbin. Thank goodness the ambulance arrived when it did, that my friend's mum had had the foresight to call it, and that her dad later insisted that I was taken to a different hospital. I don't think I'd be here today if those things hadn't happened. And it's funny how, even though we don't know what's going on in our life, there is something, a power greater than us, working on our behalf. Because 24 hours after I arrived in America, I was being woken up by a doctor and told that at the age of 32, I'd actually had a stroke. And that no, I wouldn't be going to work on Monday. I'd be going to the intensive care unit so that they could carry out tests to find out why it happened. There's a longer version to this story. It includes angels, limbo, conversations with God. I've shared it on my podcast, but for the benefit of this training, I'm sharing my story to impress upon you time is valuable, regret is real, and the only thing that truly matters is that you enjoy your life experience. You are doing a job that is creating ripple effects, the butterfly effect that you will never even know about. As you manage the schedule of the executives that you support, you are enabling their children to have the experience of their parent at their school play, at their school sports day, at their assembly, because of changes that you have made, because of things that you have learned at this training, at other trainings that you are applying constantly. You are changing the lives of people that you will never even know. Your job is so incredibly valuable. Drop a yes in the chat if you resonate with one of the following 3 questions. You might also want to add a 1, a 2, and a 3 as well. You might also, at the end of it, write 1, 2, and 3. Write whatever you want. Write it however you want. Question number 1. Would you like to be appreciated, recognized, and remunerated for the value that you add to the executives you support and the organizations you work for? Drop a yes. That's number 1. Number 2. Would you like to be invited, included, and consulted for your expertise? That's number 2. Number 3, would you like to be promoted, rewarded, and paid more for your contribution? Drop a yes in the chat, or a number 3, or a 1, 2, 3, or all of the above, or a yes, yes, yes. If you answered yes, that's great. This session is for you. During our time together, you'll hear a lot of things. I would like to invite you to approach this training like a strategist, like an executive, not like a hungry wolf who is scared that their dinner will be taken away from them. The fact that you are here live or you are watching this on the replay, there is no coincidence. You will hear exactly what you need to hear. Every time you listen back to this training, you'll hear something else. because we are always evolving as humans. Let's start with number one, the science of busyness. In this training, we're primarily talking about why being busy is killing your career development, which first means that we need to understand why you might be doing some of the things that you're doing and how you can stop them. The primary function of the brain is to keep us alive. Our brain is designed for survival. It is not designed for success. Our brain is here to pump the blood. It's here to send automatic signals to our limbs, to our organs, to our eyes, to our ears, to our throat, and then we act accordingly. Most of these signals that our brain is sending are automatic and unconscious. Some of them do require our conscious participation, and that's where the resistance comes in. Our brains are actually designed to resist the change. 3 reasons that your brain actually loves busyness. Your brain sees busyness as a sign of importance because society glorifies busyness. Your brain gets dopamine when you're ticking off those tasks on your to-do list, no matter how meaningless they are. Your brain doesn't care. It just cares that it is being busy, and this is creating the illusion of progress, which is feeding your brain's need to feel useful without necessarily being effective. Your brain gets excited that it has done important stuff. It feels busy. You have progressed. That's what it believes. Your brain is here for efficiency, efficiency of the energy that it needs in order to keep you alive, in order to do its job. It conserves energy wherever it can. It is looking for ways that it can cut corners, that it can improve things only to keep you alive, not to help to make you more successful. So, yes, your brain is deliberately sabotaging you, but it's doing it because it believes it is going to keep you alive. Because what happens when you do things that require more energy, the process is known as your executive function. This is your thinking, your planning, your regulating of your emotions. This is a process that goes on in your brain. It uses energy. It doesn't like it that much. So it finds itself slowing down, getting tired, and you are overriding the automatic mode. It panics. So it is not inclined to help you grow. It is inclined to help you be efficient in the conservation of its own energy supply. Then it's happy, then it's keeping you alive, but that is not going to help with career development. The third thing to know about why your brain loves the busyness, loves to throw it in your face, is because stress hijacks the decision making. So, under chronic busyness, there is stress. Your amygdala starts to see it as a threat, and then this dominates your prefrontal cortex, which is the decision making area. It takes a backseat, which then means that you are less likely to be reacting to the things. Your brain is trying to get you to default to what's familiar, not what's best. It loves to live in the status quo. But that's not what we're here for. That's not what this training is about. So, here are 5 ways that you can work with your brain, hack your brain, and create the results that everybody wants, that everybody is a winner. Your brain makes up 2% of your body weight because it is roughly using 20% of your resting energy, the calories and the oxygen, which means that it's always looking for food, it's always looking for fuel. And its favorite kind of fuel is glucose. And it is on the lookout for anything that might make it run out of energy. Your brain likes the status quo, it likes the plan, it likes sticking to what we know, which is why if you leave your brain unchecked, it can sabotage you when you are trying new things. Your brain isn't lazy, your brain is an efficiency machine. That efficiency, however, can sometimes work against you when it comes to your goals. Outsmarting it is really about looking at lifestyle changes that feel safe, that feel sustainable, and that are rewarding. So, these are 5 ways that you can make changes that your brain will be happy with. Number 1 is about starting small. Your brain does not resist action, it resists big action, it resists big changes. So break your big goals down into small chunks, into small steps. So then you are disarming the automatic resistance. It doesn't notice too much has changed because the change is kind of insignificant to your brain in many ways. Number 2, make the old habits harder. When you are trying to change from doing things one way to doing things another way, it's about using pattern interrupts. So things like changing your environment, introducing a small friction so that the bad habits are not reacting in the same way. You can use things like sticky notes. You can stick them on your computer, on your desk area to remind you why you're doing what you're doing, to keep you motivated, to keep you going. You can also set alarms on your phone so that a notification pops up to remind you why you're doing what you're doing. And you are reprogramming your brain. You are doing what they call neuroplasticity. You are rewiring the brain function and the pathways. Number 3, designing your success plan. Willpower is not going to keep you going. Willpower is a finite resource. Your success is going to rely on systems, on calendars, on accountability, and it's also going to rely on removing the decision fatigue and tracking your progress. What things can you change? What things can you set up? For example, when I go to my 7:30 a.m. yoga class on the Tuesday mornings, I put out all of my yoga kit so that all I have to do is get up, get dressed, go to the class. I even have my yoga mat left by the front door and the wallet that I take to the class already packed with my keys and everything. So there are minimal decisions that need to be made, and my brain can't override me. My brain can't say, I don't want to go. It's an automatic habit. We're going, it's done. Number 4, scheduling downtime. We were taught that resting meant we were lazy. We were taught that if we looked out of the window, that we were daydreaming. We were taught that laying on the grass and looking at the clouds was a sign that we had no ambition. However, the science is here now. What we were doing because we just knew. Intentionally planning time when you do nothing resets the executive function. It clears the brain fog. It makes room for higher level thinking. If your brain is always going, and you don't give it time to stop, time to power down and power up, and you wait for sleep to do that, maybe you're not getting good sleep. Maybe you're not getting as much sleep as you want, as you need. Your body, your energy, your mind, your executive function, your higher level thinking is not operating at the highest level. So, scheduling the downtime is a necessity. It's not a sign that you're lazy. A rest break is going to make you more efficient, more productive. And then finally, number 5, how you can hack your brain for success. Discomfort equals progress. It is going to feel awkward and uncomfortable at the start when you do things differently. But this is not a sign of failure. This is a sign that you are rewiring your brain. So push through that friction, push through that this doesn't feel normal, push through the voices in your head of your brain trying to say, no, we shouldn't do it like this. We should just go back to doing what we were doing before. Hacking your brain means you are creating a lifestyle where change feels safe, where change feels sustainable, where change is rewarding, and where you start to create the life, the career, the results that you want. Because this is why you're doing it. You were not born to work, you were born to live. So, learning how to be more productive and be more efficient with your work, with your time, is going to get you there, because it's so important to understand the difference between efficiency and effectiveness. This is the second thing we're talking about here today when it comes to not being that busy fool at work. In the noise of the day to day, the desire to deliver, it can be so easy to get caught up in the cycle of task completion without stopping to question if what you're doing will actually make any impact. We've all been there. We all say this sentence, we've always done it like this. But just because we've always done it like this, just because we've always done it, is it necessary? Is it adding value? This is your opportunity to understand a very basic principle with a life changing, a career changing outcome. Efficiency is about process, it is about completing tasks quickly. Effectiveness is about outcome, it is about ensuring that the tasks are completed and that they are contributing to the growth and the success. And this is the number one killer of career development. When people can't clearly understand the value that you're adding, then they won't be able to reward you. And worse of all, they may actually question the necessity for you, full stop. So stop for a minute and honestly ask yourself, what tasks are you doing on a daily, weekly, monthly basis that are just an automatic habit? What's coming up straight away? What have you often questioned and thought to yourself, why am I still doing this? Why are we still doing this? Why are we still doing it like this? You're at this training. I imagine that you go to lots of other trainings. I imagine that you're learning lots of new cutting edge digital tech, lots of new systems, lots of new processes, lots of new ways of doing things. You have so much knowledge. Now is the time to actually use that knowledge and to really question the things that you're doing. Because what we're going to talk about next is around streamlining the things that you're doing. But there's no point in streamlining things that you know are not adding value. So think about what things are adding the value, what things you would love to be able to have more time to do, what things are just busy work, what things are just things that we've always done it like this, we've always done it. I need it like this because this is what I'm used to. What can you improve? You're at the cutting edge. You work for organizations that are at the leading edge. If they want to still be in business in 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 years' time, then the changes that are made by people like you today will help them to do that. Because the position that you have is the ability to prioritize like an executive, to think strategically, to work effectively, and to operate efficiently. You are saving them time, but the way that you work is saving you time. And then it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. You save yourself time, you are more efficient in doing your work, which means that they can be more efficient in doing their work. You are assisting them to be more efficient. Your office runs more efficiently, the job runs more efficiently, the projects run more efficiently because You are asking the questions that nobody has asked before. Let's talk about the Eisenhower matrix. It's a great, very simple way for you to organize your time. I wouldn't be surprised if you haven't already come across it, but knowledge isn't power. Knowledge is just knowledge. Power is when we actually take action with the knowledge and information that we have. So let's dive into the Eisenhower matrix, which is going to help you to streamline this to-do list of yours. It's a framework with 4 key areas. Area number 1, do. Area number 2, decide. Area number 3, delegate. Area number 4, delete. Do activities. These are things that need your attention immediately. Decide activities. What can wait or needs more thought? Delegate activities. Who else can handle this task for you? Delete activities. What can you eliminate altogether? It's adding no value. It's unimportant. A do activity is important and it's urgent. A decide activity is important, but it's not urgent. A delegate activity is important, but it is urgent. And a delete activity is not urgent. When you understand that the delete activities quite possibly are activities that are using a large amount of your time, energy, and resource, if you can work out how to eliminate them altogether, that resource can be applied to other areas and add more strategic value to the organization. So this chart helps you to clarify your priorities, but it also helps you to ensure that you are focusing on what truly matters. Remember, it's not just about being busy, it's about being effective. So let's reflect on that for a moment. How are you currently managing your tasks? How do you currently feel about your to-do list? Let us know in the comments. Have you come across the Eisenhower matrix? Do you use it? Is it an automatic process for you? When I talk about you being able to delete things, is your head narrative saying, yeah, but Abigail, you just don't understand? When I'm asking you to think about delegating things, are you saying, yeah, I'd love to be able to delegate, but nobody will let me. There's nobody to delegate it to. That's great. Observe that. We can solution what we are aware of, because where there's a will, there's always a way. So how are you currently managing your tasks? What can you delegate? What can you eliminate? And how will that free up your time? Because some questions for you to consider. What could ChatGPT help you with? Or your own company AI solution? What could you automate that you have been doing manually, that you are doing regularly, that I know you are asking yourself, why am I doing it like this? I learned how to do XYZ with Excel. Why aren't I doing it like that? Why don't we have a shared folder? Why aren't we doing it in this way? Why am I always having to send out these emails? Why can things not automatically go out? They can. What processes could you create? How many times do you have people asking you, when is this due? Do they ask you the same question every month? How do we do that? Do they ask you the same question every week? Why are we doing it this way? Do they even know the process? So what could you create a process for that is just bugging you so much? And or what do you have a process for that is time for you to dust off, jazz up, and recirculate to show people this is how we do it? Because this is how you start to demonstrate the value that you're adding. This is how you start to demonstrate that you are not just an execution machine answering the phone, scheduling a meeting, replying to an email. You're adding value, you're adding strategic value, you are considering things, you are improving things, you are making things more efficient, but the right things. So you have effectively identified which things, and you are efficiently improving the process. Because ultimately, if you keep on this line of action taking, you will start to be able to make a case for more resource to support you. People aren't just allocated an assistant. They're not just given another department, oh, send that to Bob, he can do it, until it's really obvious how much time you are spending on things that you could be spending on something they want you to do. And that's not to say that people are selfish and self-interested, but it is to say that people are self-interested. They want things that benefit themselves. So how can you, because you want something, how can you put the case over so it benefits you, but it benefits them? Because we are looking for the win-win. When it's a win-win, that is when everybody is happy. And then number 4, in this part of the training, I feel like this is the pivotal part of the 5 parts that we are discussing here today. Measuring what matters. Do you actually know the value that your role brings to the executives and the organization? Can you articulate it clearly? Can you articulate it in a way that people will get it immediately? Can you articulate it with data? Can you articulate it with the data that matters? Can you articulate it with value that is measurable? Because that's what we're talking about in this session. And whether we like it or not, people respond to data. People respond to, I was able to do these 5 things, but I couldn't do these 5 things because I was doing these 5 other things. Let that sink in. So yes, I've been achieving. Yes, we've been moving forward. Yes, we could do more if I wasn't doing this. What can we do about it? Your job is to be the messenger in order to get the results and the outcome that you want, the career and the development that you want. But the messenger needs to be able to deliver with eloquence. The messenger needs to be able to deliver with data. The messenger needs to be able to deliver with value that is measurable for the organization. So I've got a challenge for you. I am going to invite you right here, right now, to audit your time for 5 working days. This is a work time tracking exercise. And the data that you will get from this exercise will help you to supercharge your career. Because there are things that you are doing all day, every day. Some of them, like the ones listed on this slide here, there might be other things that you are doing as well. There might be things that people aren't aware that you're doing. There might be things that you're doing because you're seen as the fixer, because people know you as the one who can get it done, because you're the troubleshooter, because you're the problem solver. These are great words, but these aren't data-driven, these aren't value-driven. You need to start with the data and then back up with the words to tell the story. When we increased this by 50%, it was because of how I solved the problem. When you were able to attend this event, I was able to negotiate a ticket discount, saving the organization £1,000, $1,000, 1,000, whatever currency your country is in, because of the relationships that you have. So we've not got in that list your network. How much time are you investing in your network and learning different things? And what resources do you have access to help you to do the role that it is that you do? When you do this exercise, there are some things I would like you to consider. Be compassionate. Be compassionate to yourself and be compassionate to others as you undertake this simple yet transformational activity. Let's operate in a judgment-free zone. All of us are doing the best we can today with the knowledge and information that we have today. We will be able to do better tomorrow with the new knowledge that we have gained on the journey. And incidentally, better or worse is a judgment zero-sum game, because sometimes we're learning, and that is the name of the game. Obviously, your job is very responsive. Obviously, there are certain situations where learning isn't something that certain people want you to be doing on the job. They just want you to be fixing it. However, we have to understand that we are human and the people we are working for and working with are human. And perhaps you are supporting multiple executives. When you're doing this tracking, keep a note of what activities you're doing, when you are doing these activities, who you are doing these activities for. And if some of these activities are office management, fixer activities, which you're just asked to do because you've always done it, not your job description, it's not your job role, it's somebody else's, but they ask you because you've always done it. But every time they ask you, they're interrupting you, they are stealing your time, they are making you inefficient, but they are not doing it. You are the one who has the ability to say, I'm working on this right now. Is there somebody else that you could ask? What about so and so in the office management department? So that then you start to, over time, train people to go to other people to do things which aren't actually your job, but became your job because you're just good at it, because you're a fixer. But you are not here to develop your career fixing other people's problems. So when you audit your time for 5 days, when you track your time for 5 days, there are multiple different ways that you can do it. You can do it with your calendar. So obviously your meetings are in your calendar, your tasks are in your calendar. Maybe if you track them and you write them down. I don't know what system you use. I use Google Calendar. That tells me how many hours I've spent on these types of projects, how many hours I've spent on other types of projects and activities. So I put everything into my diary. But maybe you're somebody who wants to keep it in an Excel spreadsheet, then do that. Maybe you're somebody who likes pen and paper, so do that. Maybe you're somebody who likes pen and paper first, and then you want to put it into a spreadsheet. Do it however works for you. This is not meant to be work. This is meant to be something that helps to elevate you, elevate your career, and take you to the next level. Because the next step, the super exciting step, is once you have got your data, then you can turn your data into your own personal dashboard. And you can use this dashboard in your one-to-ones with your executive or executives. If you are supporting multiple, you might want multiple dashboards. Also, it might be a good way for you to demonstrate to the executives that you are supporting multiply what you're doing for others so that they can start to see that when you're not doing things for them, you're supporting somebody else. And this is what it looks like. Because it's not that people don't think that you're not valuable. It's just that when people don't know the value you're adding, they can't have any kind of understanding of what it is that you do all day. I remember years ago in one of my corporate careers, one of my colleagues, I don't even know why they did this, but they asked my boss what it was that I did all day. And in our one-to-one, he said to me, Abigail, I know you're very good at getting your work done. I know you're very efficient. I know you're very personable. I know you want to speak to other work colleagues and network and find out how you can support them and improve processes and be more productive. However, this is how it's being perceived. It's being perceived that you're not working. It's being perceived that you are not adding value. How I dealt with that was his recommendation to invite that work colleague for a coffee and to ask that work colleague for their career advice. That work colleague recommended a book that I, of course, went off and bought and read the book. And this was how I was able to turn around somebody's perception of me by taking on board their advice. However, I was efficient at my job. I had already got my work done. The point was really that they were unwilling to look at things and change things and do things in other ways. There were 4 or 5 different projects that I wanted to do. And this was why ultimately I ended up moving on from that job to another job to have more responsibility. And sometimes if you can't change the process, you have to change the job because you are the way you are the talent that you are the intuition that you are the skill set that you are, which is why you are doing the job that you do. So, this data and this dashboard is something that you can use to clearly, visibly, simply, and immediately convey the value that you add. So, cross reference your results with your KPIs, with your OKRs, with your targets, and update them on your progress regularly. That way, the executives you're supporting can continuously be reminded of the value that you're adding with data, not with words, not with supposition, not with, well, I've been really busy this month, we've done so much. But what? It's important to find the balance, however, between reporting and justifying. You're not doing this exercise because you need to prove your worth. You're doing this exercise because it's helping you to know your worth. It's helping you to see your contribution. It's helping you to articulate your contribution. And this is data that is going to help you on your career path. Whether you decide to stay where you are, whether you decide to put yourself forward for other things, you will always be asked, what have you done? What projects did you work on? What value did you add? What was your contribution to it? This exercise is your first step towards being able to keep a record, keep a track of what you're actually doing. If you're uncertain of how to find the right approach in all of this, you might want to ask a peer mentor. Maybe you have one in your organization. You might want to ask a colleague. You might want to ask your network. You might want to ask somebody after this conference. You might want to ask a coach. If you're uncertain, then that is going to be something that will stop you. We don't operate our lives and our careers to be stopped by problems. Our job is to work out how to overcome the problem. Our job is also to observe what it is that's stopping us. So, what automatic thoughts are coming up for you right now? Put them in the comments. Maybe you're not fully clear on what this exercise is, on how to do it. Maybe you're looking at this picture and thinking, wow, that's a really complex chart. I don't know how to do any of those. But maybe your organization has systems that you can use. Maybe it's a system that you can actually create yourself. Maybe it's something that you and your colleagues, you and your peers, you and your friends, a few of you can get together, create a similar dashboard and do it using a system that you already have and just make it really, really simple. And think about this as a process because you don't want to be adding extra work to your to-do list every single week, every single day. It just has to become second nature. This is what I was doing. When you look back, how did you write it down? Maybe you make a note at the end of every day when you look at everything you've done. Maybe you make a note, then maybe at the end of the week, all of those notes are added in. Maybe you need to leave a voice note so that then it's automatically typed up for you. Technology is here to help us and it's absolutely amazing. Maybe you ask ChatGPT, how do I create a dashboard that can report on this and this and this and this? And it tells you and it shows you. It's absolutely incredible the times that we're living in, the resources that we have and the answers to the problems. It really is a case and a life and a world and a career where there is an answer to every problem if you are prepared to ask a different question and ask a different question. And one of the questions that I love in coaching conversations with people when they say, I don't know, Abigail, I don't know, I ask, and if you did know? And if the answer is still, I don't know, the next question after that question is, and what would you tell a friend? If this was a friend telling you, what would you tell them? Because it's funny, we do know. And often we're more afraid of success than we realize. In the podcast, I've talked a lot about procrastination, and I've talked a lot about, is it a trauma response? And I truly believe that a number of us have fear programmed into us that when we're successful, people won't like us. When we're successful, all sorts of things might happen. People might be mean to us. People might ask us for money. People might tell us that we don't deserve it. So I'll just stay where I am. It might have been when you were in school, there was a school bully and you decided that it was just easier to fit in. Who do you think you are? I've had lots of conversations with people recently because more and more people are waking up to the narratives. They're hearing these narratives, these stories, and they're remembering, oh, yes, it was when they said this, when I was 10, when I was 15, when I was 20, this happened, when I was 25, this person said this to me. 2020 was a great time when people had spiritual awakenings in many ways, but they had it's now or never. Why am I doing it like this? Why am I living like this? Why am I telling myself these same stories anymore? I'm done. I'm finished. I'm over. Let's move on to our final part of this training today. Number 5 is the 888 formula. This is the wrapper around it all. This is the why we are doing it. This is a holistic approach to your work-life balance. It is the simplest way for you to divide your 24-hour day based on science and society. So science suggests that us, the humans, need 7 to 9 hours sleep to feel rested and recharged. The average human needs 7.5 hours sleep. That's definitely me. We call this rest, as there are other ways that you can recharge your energy too. And then society requires us to work an 8-hour day. So what is left is your life. This is the jam in the middle of the 888 sandwich. What isn't work, what isn't rest, fits in there. This is your commute to work, commute home if you're doing it. This is your time to buy your food, cook your food, eat your food. This is the time to buy your clothes, wear your clothes, wash your clothes. This is the time to maintain your house, to change your bed, to look after your relationships, to look after your children if you have them, to look after your pets if you have them, to look after your parents if that's something that you're doing, to look after any other dependents that you might be responsible for. This is your time for your hobbies. This is your time for your personal development. This is your time for your exercise. This is your time for everything. So when we're talking about time and when we're talking about efficiency and when we're talking about how to be more productive in your workday, it's so that you can have enough time for the life that you came here to live. Because you didn't come here to work, 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 work. You came here to work, to pay for your life, to live your life, to enjoy your life. And then the resting is where we are recharging our body so that we can keep going. And we can recharge it with things like mindfulness activities, meditation. When you learn how to meditate, let us know in the comments. I'm always interested. Who is meditating? How are you finding it? What ways are you using to meditate? Remember, I said earlier about that making time to rest? They call it restorative rest. The science is proving that it can recharge your brain. There's something called the yoga nidra meditations. And I learned about this on the Huberman Lab podcast. Maybe you are aware of Professor Huberman and you follow his podcast too. He is a big fan of the yoga nidra. They call it non-sleep deep rest. You go into a restful phase, but you're not going to sleep. And so it helps your body to recharge. The science behind that is incredible. The 888 formula will change your life when you recognize what your actual formula is currently. And this is to give you an idea of what mine looked like in the run up to my trip to Boston. I was hardly getting any rest. I was working 14-hour days and I literally had no life because my commute was about 2 hours. So that left me with 3 hours to eat my dinner, change my clothes, go to bed. and that was it. What I would love you to understand about the 888 formula is how you spend your time matters, and so does the quality of your life. You are looking at how you're allocating 24 hours every single day, and it is going to be influenced by your circumstances, your responsibilities, your current season of life, your current time of life, your current time of year, work-wise, the projects you're involved in, the roles you have, the responsibilities you have, and other things. This was my work-life balance in the run-up to my stroke. I had no work-life balance. My body was constantly tired. Not to say that if this is what your formula looks like, you're heading for a stroke, but it's just to say if you do not make time for your health and well-being, you will need to make time for your illness. This training, we're talking about how to stop the busyness, how to be and progress more in your career. And the way to do it is to manage your own time, manage your own life, manage your own energy, so that everything you're showing up to in work and in home, you're bringing your best self, because the energy doesn't lie. Your colleagues will respond to your energy, and things will get done much, much easier when you are looking after yourself, when you are enjoying being you and enjoying your life, because you are allowed. You are allowed. So let's recap what we've talked about in this session today. We have been discussing how being busy is killing your career development and what you can do about it. We've covered the science of busyness, efficiency versus effectiveness, prioritizing like an executive, measuring what matters, and the 888 formula. We have looked at why your brain resists change and things that you can do about that. We have looked at ways that you can get more strategic with your efficiency and your effectiveness, managing that to-do list. We've talked about the Eisenhower matrix and how that can help you refocus. We've talked about doing that 5-day time tracking exercise so that you can start to showcase your strategic value. This is the most important part of this training. That strategic value is how you are going to get promoted. It is how you are going to get invited into the meetings you want to be in. It's how you're going to get consulted, and it's how you are going to get paid for the value that you add. And then we wrapped it all up with that 888 formula, that framework to help you balance your productivity and your well-being. Now you know how to find and articulate the strategic value you add to your organization and to your executives. It's been so amazing to spend time with you in this training today. Check out the Time Management Podcast. It started in October 2023, and Lucy was one of the first guests. In fact, she's episode number 3. So you'll need to scroll back, find that episode, but it's absolutely amazing. There is a new episode every Thursday. We have 85 plus episodes there for you to choose from in 127 countries around the world. I love, love, love hearing from you. We have over 20,000 downloads now as well. If there's anything you would like an episode on, let me know. What's been your biggest takeaway from this session? Let us know in the comments if you haven't already. Reach out to me on LinkedIn. Let me know over there. Email me at enquiries@successbydesigntraining.com with your takeaways from this session and any questions that you have. And it goes without saying, if you're looking for a speaker at your next conference or your next event, please reach out to Lucy and the team, as I'd absolutely love to work with you and your organization, and they represent me as a speaker and can arrange all of that for you. Oh my goodness, that was so amazing. I am so incredibly excited for you. I cannot wait to hear what you have taken away from this training today, what you are planning to implement, what questions or challenges have come up for you and you haven't let us know about them in the comments. Feel free to reach out to me on the LinkedIn and ask me any questions. I cannot wait to hear your thoughts on the podcast episode that we mentioned as well. The one with Lucy is absolutely fantastic. That's episode 3, and I would highly recommend that you start there. I cannot wait to see you online again, in person again. And until next time, my friends, stay safe, stay well, and remember, it is your time.